Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Shaman's Cave. I'm Renee Baribeau.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sandra Ingerman, and welcome to the Shaman's Cave. And on today's show, we want to welcome in the Equinox. And Renee and I were laughing before. We always have fun before our show. We were laughing before about how the equinox is easy to talk about because we don't get into trouble. I think a lot of you are like Renee and I. People who have expanded sight into the unseen realms typically have a lot of issues around directions and like where are we in time, because when you live in the unseen, time is meaningless. We're just kind of moving like the flow of a river, and you can't stop the flow of a river, although that's what we try to do in our culture. And so uh, I always get confused. Sylvia, who's my wonderful webmaster, she's always telling me that I wrote the wrong equinox or I wrote the wrong solstice or did something. It's just what happens. It doesn't mean that we don't have a sacred understanding. It's that we have a felt understanding in our body. And that's really what you want to get. I've actually been writing about this. It's coming out in some of my transmutation news. Forget about what everybody's telling you about the equinox, the solstice. Open up your body and lay on the earth every day just for a minute and breathe outside for a minute, and you will notice that every day there's a change in
hmm
the elements that is very noticeable. It's very noticeable to all creatures, all nature beings. It's not noticeable by human beings because we actually did everything possible to dampen down our non-ordinary senses, with all the distractions that we have. And so it's such a powerful practice to actually feel in your body the change of the coming season, because then your body actually knows how to enter into the flow of the change. It doesn't matter if your mind knows how to enter into the flow of the change. What matters if your body knows how to enter into the flow of the change, because that's what keeps us healthy, resilient, and strong, is when we're absolutely connected to the phases of nature. And so, at this particular time in the Northern Hemisphere, we're moving into fall, which I know people who know me are sick of me saying this, but I am always so happy when September 1st comes because I'm a fall winter person. And those of you in the southern hemisphere are moving into spring, and a lot of you in the northern hemisphere are jealous of those in the southern hemisphere right now. But they're brilliant times in nature. So much is going on, so much power, the power of death and rebirth on one continent and in one part of the world, and the power of new birth in another part of the world happening simultaneously at the same time. That's an amazing alchemy, don't you think so, Renee?
Oh, I absolutely do think so. And we didn't even talk about this before, but this morning, actually, my cat goes out in the morning for a little stroll. And I live on the second floor. And so I have to go down the stairs and let her out. And I've created this new ritual where I go out and I say to the sun, "Ah, good morning, sun. Good morning, son." I do it 3 times. I figure, it's much better than opening the door and giving her a kick in the butt and kicking her out the door. And so what I noticed today, and I thought, well, this is going to be a really good exercise that I'm going to employ for the next few seasons, is that I looked at when I was welcoming in the sun. If I stand in the same place every day, where is the sun in relationship to me? And I thought, like, well, that's an interesting juxtaposition. And where is my shadow? And I thought, like, well, this is really an interesting marker. I think I'm going to take a piece of big paper and I'm going to start to plot myself in relationship to nature so that I could become more nature based than ever.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I used to have a friend, Christina Stack. She was a brilliant shamanic teacher, and she was a brilliant artist. You know, she went to the best art schools in the country, and you know, she was known for her work. And I used to stay with Christina a lot because she lived in Woodstock, New York, which was right outside of where I was teaching at Phoenicia Pathwork Center, which does the center's there, but it's under a different name now. And every year, Christina did this amazing thing. She went outside and she took a picture of the moon every night for 365 days and put the pictures in kind of horizontal onto kind of a canvas. And so you could see
Hmm.
the change of the moon every single day for 365 days. And you're doing the same thing, but with the sun. I think that's absolutely brilliant, Renee.
I don't know. I'll have to show you my chart once I draw it. And I'm like, okay, so I put me in the same place every single day. And, and that's big. It's like I become a human sundial.
Right.
And how exciting is that? And it'd be curious to really know the coordinates of the movement and really get more in tune with the subtle movements of the nature because seeing my whole front is opened up here and I see this with where the moon rises and things like that, but I'm there like this is practical. And you know me, I like practical like that. I could really see this in 3D is like very exciting. Who's
Yeah.
going to join me? If you're going to join me, make sure you subscribe and put a comment there and we can share our pictures together of where we're facing and what I'm going to be facing east because that's where the sun's coming up. And if you're facing east, let's find out where the sun is in relationship to you. I'd happy to share this experience with other people.
Yeah. I want to say that I'm going to do this with you, Renee. I really do.
It's okay. I still do your tree thing. I have that friendly tree that you taught us about. And when in the desert, I have a tree, and every time I go and if I walk by it, it calls me back.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're just gonna ignore me today, Renee? And it's like, who's talking now? So these practices are really a way of us reopening ourselves to really experience what we're talking about is this direct revelation with nature. And really what matters more than that is to know how we are situated in our own environment.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons that old-time cultures didn't have the same issues that we're dealing with now is they were forced to be connected to nature.
Hmm.
And so we know the power of the indigenous medicines, the plants, and I'm not talking about psychoactive, I'm just talking about I say I'm sick and I get all these emails, go to this person in South America, this person in South America, that they can heal anything. They can heal anything. And it's because they talk to the plants and the plants
Hmm.
tell them what they will cure and how to actually make the different doses. And we're so far away from that. And we're actually seeing what's happening because of
Hmm.
so
Yes, I think we're going to have a show sometime, I hope, on um, I work in the behavioral health industry and I'm I'm having a real my cockles are raised about, some of the psychotropic drugs that are that medicines that are being introduced without the spirit. Without the spirit of the shaman, without the spirit of the land, without the spirit of, we're claiming them as our own. Talk about appropriation. I just don't know what's going to happen to people who are taking these medicines without all of the other practices. And, are they going to be worse off in a few years? I mean, maybe not. Maybe I'm just an old hen out in the chicken coop, but I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned about our ethics and about some of these practices. But that's not today's show. But I'm on a soapbox about this.
And for a good reason, Renee. You work in the field of addiction, and so you actually see the woundedness that people are coming in with, and
And the greed.
yeah,
This is the next money frontier.
right, yeah,
This is, do you know there's millions of dollars to be made in this? And it's just like, wow, I went because I was suffering and I needed to remove some of that old scarring in my energy field. And it never was about the money for the people who worked with me or the people that I brought afterwards to be in and have that experience with the medicine. So, but this is an Equinox show where we're finding balance. So maybe there'll be balance will come about in that area as well.
yeah. We're gonna do a ceremony, and I know what Renee's gonna be throwing into our ceremony.
Yes, I was up in the middle of the night thinking about this. Like, like if I become one of those crabby old women who just have nothing better to do than think about what stomping on the next generation's idea of a good time.
Yeah, I remember. I remember I was so mad at a publishing company that was I felt was watering down shamanism. And, I'm out there because I believe shamanism has an amazing power to heal. And when I watch it being watered down, I'm seeing all the people who are suffering who could have gotten healed by the practice, who aren't going to get healed because of greed. And so I went crazy and I started yelling at the publisher, and they said, we're so tired of, we've been hearing from all the old yoga teachers, all the old meditation teachers, and now you, the old shamanism teacher. The world is moving on. Sandra, where are you? Anyway, Renee and I, and it's one reason why you should subscribe and like us and comment, is Renee and I are not willing to sell our ethics for money and for power. We're just not willing to do it. And you can look at me and say, well, yeah, you can say that. You've been incredibly successful, but you have no idea what I lost because I wouldn't go that route. So you can't project like that. But if you listen to Renee and my show and our show, I have to tell you that we are really talking about the real thing, and we're trying to help you and to serve. We actually have nothing that we're getting from doing this.
I know sometimes I'm like, let me understand YouTube just a tad better so I can, so that we could get the show totally paid for. And really, we've gotten some really nice contributions lately. So I want to thank you, people who generously sent us. Somebody sent us $100 the other day, and really that helps. And every month, Sandra and I still have to dig into our little wallets and pay for this because we believe that we are showing people the way, and we get a lot of positive feedback about you're just the breath of fresh air I needed today, and you offered me hope. I was not feeling so good, and boy, that was just a little bit of wisdom goes a long way. And so we honor those people who show up and listen and who subscribe, and even the people who are sharing on our page. We wish you would come over and subscribe, and we still appreciate the support you give us in other ways.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we had Renee and I discussed this, and we changed the format of our show a little bit Some of you might have noticed it, some of you might not have. And I actually mentioned this once before, is when we started the show, we wanted to lead you on journeys. Renee was leading journeys with the whistle, the wind whistle, and I was leading journeys with my drum. And what we started to be alerted to was the fact that many of you listen to our show while you're driving, and that doing shamanic practices while people were driving wasn't really the safest way to go. So you might have noticed that we stopped a lot of drumming, we stopped a lot of practices, and that was why. And so, in thinking about and journeying about a ceremony that we could do today to welcome in the equinox, and it doesn't matter whether you're welcoming in fall or welcoming in spring, or if for some reason you live someplace where you're welcoming winter, it doesn't matter what season you're welcoming in. It's a beautiful time for ceremony. Marking a change, marking a transition is so important for us. It's just so important for us. It helps us, again, enter into the flow of what's happening in life. So I really thought about what kind of ceremony can we do without drumming and rattling, and something everybody can do while we're driving. And so this is the ceremony that we're going to do. I'm going to give you the big picture, and then we'll lead you and guide you through it. So we're going to start. I feel that the equinox and solstice is a really good time to either let go of what needs to die in your life, the fall in your life, and also what you want to bring in into the spring of your life. So I like to do ceremonies on changes of seasons that have to do about letting go and bringing in. It's just kind of how I work. And so I came up with a ceremony that Renee and I are going to lead you on together. And first, we're going to imagine that there's a giant trampoline in the sky, and it's surrounded by divine spirits, angels, all kinds of spirits. And at the appropriate moment, we're going to tell you to send into the trampoline what you really hate about life right now, about your life, what you want to get rid of, what's not working for you, what's not filling you with joy anymore, relationships you're trying to stop connection with, bad habits you're trying to break, whatever it is that you want to release. You want to release, you want this out of your body, you want this out of your collective, you want this out of your space. And you want to throw it into the trampoline, and the spirits are going to jump. They're going to jump on that trampoline really hard, and all of that is going to go up into the universe, where source is going to turn that, transmute that into beautiful light that's going to shine down on all of us, all of life, bringing uplifting sensations to every living being in nature, including us humans, although we tend to separate ourselves from that. And then Renee will do a clearing, and then we'll do the same thing again. But this time we're going to put into the trampoline everything we want to see in our own lives, everything we want to experience in our own lives, what we want to see, feel, hear, smell, taste. Really use your imagination and throw it into the trampoline. And then the spirits are going to send it up to the power of the universe to make it so.
I love this. There's the kids next door have a trampoline, and I see them out there jumping all the time. So I've got this really great visual of, and I know what it feels like to jump on a trampoline. So do we get to jump with the spirits, or are they going to jump?
Oh,
We're just
yeah.
doing our stuff.
We can actually trump, but if you're driving, don't trump with the spirits, please. But if you're if you're not driving, if you're not driving, then definitely jump on the trampoline.
I'm such
So,
a kid.
so as Renee and I were just lamenting that the sacredness is being taken out of work. So before we begin our ceremony, we want to make sure that we're all in a sacred place and that even if we're driving, we have our heart open and we're sending love to everybody on the road that's with us. So we just want to be in a loving space. As long as you're in a loving space, Source is reading your heart. And when Source reads your heart, it means that now you have a strong connection with Source, and Source is going to do its work to help you out. So I'm just going to start with a little bit of rattling and singing just to get us going. And then we'll lead you into this ceremony. So here we go. Okay, so when you're ready, let's think about what is it that's not working for you in life? What would you like to get rid of on this equinox? And hold that in your heart right now. And use your imagination with your eyes opened or your eyes closed, depending on where you are at this point in time. And imagine this amazing, gigantic, rainbow-colored trampoline up in the sky. And it's surrounded by divine beings and angels and helping spirits. And they invite us to let go into this trampoline. What is it that we want to compost back to the earth during this time of dismemberment and death, which leads to rebirth? What do we want transformed and composted so that it grows into a new form of beauty instead of the obstacle that was causing us to struggle in life? Imagine yourself throwing in that energy. Everything is energy. Say the words out loud that you want to throw in. Feel it being extracted out of your body into this trampoline. And now the spirits jump And if you want to enter into the trampoline and jump, go ahead and do that. But jump, jump, jump really high, allowing all that struggle, all that suffering, all those obstacles, all that betrayal, all that pain. Let it go, let it go. Give it to Source. Source knows what to do with it. Source knows how to transmute it into unconditional love and beautiful light that will shine on the earth within and without as we let go of what no longer serves us. It has no more meaning to us. It's time to move forward. We let it go, and it's done. And we let Renee come in and clear the space for us for the next part of our ritual together. Beautiful. Okay, so are you ready for the next part of our ceremony? Our space has been cleared. Now I'm using a fairy bell rattle that sings its song to Source. So now, once again, imagine this amazing trampoline floating in the sky, rainbow colors, divine spirits, angels, helping spirits, nature beings, the Davic realm, all ready to help make our amazing, beautiful dreams for ourselves, the earth, and all of life, to make it so that we feel beauty and love in our hearts as we open our eyes every day to the new spring that has come into the world. So now it's time to release into this amazing trampoline all your desires that you wish for yourself, for the collective, for the web of life, for the earth, for the sun, the moon, the stars, the winds, the waters of the world, and all the living beings, and ourselves. And don't forget to put the word self-love into this trampoline. Don't forget that word, that you love yourself, because that's the greatest healing that this planet needs right now. Put in those words, put in those feelings, put in your greatest dreams. And now, let's jump with the spirits. Jump high. As all that energy, all those words, all those thoughts, all those daydreams move to the source of all of life. As my mother said, there's only one sky. There's only one source. We send it to Source. And now Source says that Source will make it so, along with the Source that lives within us. Because remember, we came from Source. We were born from Source. And so Source is within us too. So our inner Source and outer Source work together today to make our dreams so. Welcome back, everybody.
That was great. I had so much stuff to dump on there the first time. And then when we got to the lighter one, it was like I felt like all my other little childlike friends who were jumping on the trampoline with me. We were holding hands and it was doing flips. It was great.
It felt good. It felt good. Yeah. So, yeah, so we're welcoming in the equinox. We're welcoming in a new change in life, and you've released what doesn't work for you, and the universe within and without is making so your greatest dreams.
That was wonderful, everyone. We're wishing you a great fall equinox. And I just want to give a mention that I'm going to be teaching a 5-week course this fall. It's called Finish the Year Strong, based on nature traditions and really doing exercises as simple as going out and seeing yourself aligned in the sun and seeing where you're aligned in your life. So if that interests you at all, come over to the Practical Shaman. Otherwise, we'll see you on our Facebook group or click subscribe. And I know Sandra's going to be teaching next year, so we're getting excited for that too.
That's right. Yeah, I'll be teaching for the Shift Network. I'll be teaching a really short course on shamanic journeying for people who don't want a lot, but just a little. And I'm going back to in-person teaching next year again, everybody. So if you're not on my email list at sandraingerman.com, that's where the first announcement is going to come out, is on my email list. So get on that list so that you can find out about the advanced healing shamanic practices that I'll be doing, which will lead to a practitioner training, which, if you're sending stellar case studies, will put you on shamanicteachers.com. So we have a lot to look forward to.
I know. And we plan on doing it together. So we'll see you all soon and have a awesome. Oh, if you didn't catch my tip on Better Homes and Garden, there was a tip about going out in nature and actually catching a fallen leaf. And when you catch that fallen leaf, make a wish. So make
Yeah.
a big wish this fall, and we'll see you really soon.
Blessings, everyone. Thank you.